All right, hey guys, welcome to chapter 9. I'm really sorry that I can't be there with you today, but I do have an all-day training. So you guys are going to watch this first video, work on some practice, and then you will watch another video and work on the practice for that. When I am back on Thursday and see you guys again, we will take a quick formative assessment on these first three sections that you guys are going to be working on today, and then we'll proceed from there. So I do need you to do your best, pay attention. I'll post the link to these videos on Classroom so that you can rewatch them if you need to, but just follow along with me now, and then you'll be able to work on your practice as soon as this video is over. So chapter 9 is all about transformations. So a transformation is a change in the position, size, or shape of a figure. The original figure is called the pre-image. The resulting figure, so the one that we get once we've either moved it or changed the size or the shape, so the resulting figure is called the image. All right, so knowing the difference between the two of those is going to be big. So the original is the pre-image. The resulting is the image. A transformation maps the pre-image to the image. And we use an arrow notation to describe the transformation. And once we look at some examples, this will make a little bit more sense. So just bear with me on the vocab for a second. Primes are what we use to label the image. All right. Again, once we do some examples, a little bit more of this will make sense. But really, the big thing here, pre-image is the start, image is the end, and we use prime notation to show the difference between the pre-image and the image. So the first one we are going to talk about is a reflection. So the big word that I want you to think of when you hear the word reflection is I want you to think of flipping. All right, so a reflection is like a flip. And this is a transformation across a line called the line of reflection. We're very creative here in math. So we're reflecting it across a line called the line of reflection. Each point and its image are the same distance from the line of reflection. So if I have a line of reflection here and I have a point, then I have to go the same distance across to my new point. So if this was A and I reflect it across this line, this would be A prime. And if we look, those distances are the same. All right. The next one we are going to talk about is a translation. So a translation is really like saying a slide. So I'm going to use a different color here, slide. So a translation is a transformation where all points of a figure are moved the same distance in the same direction. All right, so even just sliding my paper up and down, this is a translation because everything on the paper is moving the same direction and moving the same distance. So, I'm sorry, I just lost my place. We're right here. So a translation is an isometry. And really, all that means is that the image of the translated figure is congruent to the pre-image. So when I slide my paper up and down and I'm moving it, I'm translating it, I'm not changing the size of my paper, right? It's going from here up. Everything is staying the exact same size, all right? The word vector. A vector is a quantity that has both length and direction. A vector in the coordinate plane can be written as AB, where A is the horizontal change and B is the vertical change from the initial, so the starting point, to the terminal point, which is the end point. Okay, oops, you guys can't see that. There we go. Now you can see it. The big thing here is this vector notation. It's not a coordinate point. It's not like this, A comma B, and it's in parentheses. That is not what we're doing. A vector has to have these almost arrow brackets around it instead. That's how we know that something is a vector. Okay, so let's look at what some of this actually looks like. So your learning targets are up at the top. You can take a look at them. The first thing we're going to do, though, is determine if the transformation is a reflection, translation, or neither. So we have to remember reflection, we're thinking the word flip, and translation, we're thinking the word slide. If it is a reflection, we have to sketch the line of reflection. All right, so take a look at number 1. If we take this image, how did we get to this one? Well, all we did was flip that. So we're going to draw the line of, or I'm sorry, this is not a rotation, it's a reflection. I hope that's what I said. I'm sorry if I just messed you up. This is a reflection. So we're going to draw the line of reflection right in the middle of the two images. If I take this one here and I flip it down, I've got this one. All right, sorry if I just screwed you up. That one is a reflection. All right, question 2, when we look at that, this one did slide over this way, but it also changed size, which means this one has to be neither. This is not a reflection or a translation. That must be something else because it changed size. For number 3, those look to be the same size to me, and all we did was take it and slide it to the right. So if it's a slide, we know it's a translation. All right, and then question 4, that also to me looks like a reflection. So we're going to want to draw our line of reflection right in the middle. All right, and I'm not going to get out a ruler and make sure that you're exactly in the center, but please do your best to make sure that it is actually in the center of your figures, okay? So this one was neither because it changed size. You might want to jot that down. Sorry about that. All right, so just by looking at them, we can tell what they are. Now we're going to actually do some work with some of this stuff. So reflecting the points across a given line. So when we look at point A, the first thing we're going to actually do is figure out what we're reflecting across. Well, we're reflecting across in this first one, the x-axis. So I usually highlight the line that I am reflecting over. That is my line of reflection. All right, and we know that when we reflect across a line, they have to be the same distance away. So point A is 1 point above. I'm going to zoom in actually. Let me see if it'll, nope, it won't let me, there we go. Okay, so here is point A. We are 1 unit above the line. So all I'm going to do is take it and reflect it 1 unit below the line. And then I'm going to label it with my prime notation. So that is now A prime. Pretty easy. All right, the y-axis, so that is the vertical one. So here's my line of reflection. And now I'm going to figure out how far away I am. So I'm 1, 2, 3, 4 units to the left. So I'm going to go 4 units to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Notice that nothing else about it changes. I'm still on the same horizontal level here because I'm reflecting across this vertical line. And there is B prime. The line x equals 1. All right, well, let's see. X equals 1. we want to think about, if you guys remember from last year, we've got Vux Hoi. So if it's an x equals, we know it's a vertical line. All right, so x equals 1 is right here. So here's my vertical line. Here's point C. I'm 1, 2, 3 units to the right. So I'm going to go 3 units to the left. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to label it C prime. This was my pre-image. This is my image. All right, the line y equals 2. Well, this is where we want to think about Hoi, right? So we have Vux Hoi, vertical lines, horizontal lines. So a horizontal line at y equals -2. So that is right here. And we're going to reflect point D. So 1, 2, 3 units below. We're going to make it 1, 2, 3 units above. And we're going to label it D prime. All right. Now we're going to look at what happens when we're actually on a slant. So if y equals x, we have a y-intercept of 0, and then we have a slope of 1. So up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. And we've got this line going like this. So I'm going to go ahead and there's my line of reflection. All right, well, we need to be the same distance away, and it's a little hard to find the distance on there. So we're going to do this one in a little bit of a different way. But what I'm going to do is down here at the bottom, I'm going to write what point E actually is. So point E was originally the point 0, 4. Anytime we reflect across the line y equals x, all you are going to do is flip the coordinates for x and y. So E prime is now going to be, instead of 0, 4, it's going to be the point 4, 0. So if we look at that on our graph, that is right here, and there's my E prime. So anytime we're doing the line y equals x, let's write ourselves a note, we're going to switch x and y. So switch x and y. And that's how we get the coordinates for E prime. Okay? For question 6, reflect the figure with the given vertices across the given line. So the first thing we have to do is actually graph those points. So the point -2, 0 would be right here, and that is Q. The point -1, +4 would be right here, that is point N. And then the point 3, 1, so 1, 2, 3, 1 would be right here, that is point L. And then we're going to connect the points. I really should be using my straight edge. Sorry, I guess I'll pull that out. There's our original, okay? And we are going to reflect across the line y equals 1. So again, y equals, we should be thinking it's a horizontal line. All right, so if there's 1, that's right here. So there is my line of reflection. And every single point has to be the same distance away. So I'm going to take point Q, and since I'm 1 unit below, I'm going to make it 1 unit above. So there is my Q prime. N is 1, 2, 3 units above, so make it 3 units below. 1, 2, 3. Here's my N prime. And then point L, well, point L is actually on the line of reflection, which means L and L prime are actually the same point. All right, and then we can go ahead and connect our new dots. You do need to make sure that you put L equals L prime if that point is not moving. All right, so please make sure that you do that. For question 7, we've got A, U, and X, so we have another triangle, but now we're reflecting across the line y equals x. So this is a lot like the last one above that we just did. We're going to switch x and y on all of these points. All right, so draw your original figure. Negative 3, 2 is right here. That's the point A. Negative 2, 5 is right here, so that's U. And then 0, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 is right here, so that's point X. There's our original figure. We're reflecting across the line y equals x. So that's this diagonal line going through here. And to get our new points, we want to switch x and y. So for point A prime, sometimes it helps to write it, we're just going to do 2, negative 3. So over 2 and down 1, 2, 3. There's my A prime. And then for U prime, we're going to do 5, negative 2. So over 5 and down 2. That is my U prime. And then for X prime, it's going to be the point 4, 0. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm not moving at all, so that's my X prime. And here is my new figure. All right, so that's the big idea there, is we want to switch x and y. All right, moving right along. So those were reflections. Now, let me zoom back out a little bit, and we are going to do, this will not let me do that nicely. So now we are going to do translations. So we have to remember, translations mean that we are sliding our figure. So again, let's draw our original figure. M is the point negative 2, negative 3. 1, 2, negative 2, negative 3. Sorry, 1, 2, 3. So here's a point M. And then the point negative 4, 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. That is right here. That's point R. And then point J is at negative 2, 0. So we have this triangle, that's J, that looks like this. All right, and we want to translate it along the vector 5, negative 1. Well, we know that when we look at these vectors, the first part tells us the horizontal. And since it's a positive 5, we're going to move 5 to the right. All right, and then the next part tells us the vertical shift. And since it's negative, that means we're going to be going down 1. So every single one of these points is going to follow this vector. So start with point, doesn't really matter, but I'm going to start with point R, and I'm going to go 5 to the right and down 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the right and down 1. And I'm going to make that my R prime. And then I'm going to go to J. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the right and down 1. And there's my J prime. And then same thing with M. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the right and down 1. And there is my M prime. And there's my new figure. Every single point on there was shifted 5 to the right and down 1. All right, question 9 is very similar. We're actually going to go ahead and skip that one so that we can move on a little bit. What I want to do now is just these last two examples to work through with you and make sure you are okay with writing vectors on your own. So find the vector associated with each translation. So remember, our vectors always start without the primes and they move to the primes. So if we pick a point, let's say point Q, we need to map it to Q prime. So Q prime is right here. So to get from Q to Q prime, we had to move 1, 2, 3 to the left. And then we had to move 1, 2 down. When we write our vectors, we have to remember we use the arrows, not parentheses. And if I'm going left, that's going to be negative. So negative 3, and then I'm going down 2, so that's a negative 2. And that's all it is. All right. For question 11, same idea. Start with, let's say, P, and we're going to go to P prime. So to go from P to P prime, I'm moving 1, 2, 3 to the right. And I'm not moving down at all. So I'm going to go 0 down. Well, right is horizontal, so that's going to be the first part of my vector. And I'm moving to the right, so it's a positive 3. And then I'm not moving down at all, so that would be a 0 for the y portion of my vector. All right, I know this is a little bit of a longer video. Hopefully you guys were able to follow along with it okay. You are going to do the practice for sections 9.1 and 9.2 right now. I've given the sub some instructions to give you about 20 to 25 minutes to work through it. The sub should have an answer key for you as well. I'll post the link to this on Classroom. I think I said that already, but I'll post it. And then after you guys are done with that practice, the sub will play the next video for you, which is section 9.3, part 1. You'll notice it's actually a video that I made last year, so if I say anything about you know, anything in class or whatever, it's obviously from last year. So pay attention to the video though, copy down the notes. That one will be on rotations. And then once you are done watching that second video, you will do the practice for section 9.1 part 1, or I'm sorry, 9.3 part 1. And you guys will have no homework, all right? So make sure that the practices are done. If they're not, that'll be your homework, I guess. But you should have plenty of time in class to get through it. Work together, help each other out, be respectful, and I will see you guys on Thursday, all right? See you later.